What's going to? Welcome back to another video of the Point After podcast. Here today, kicking off week number 2 with Texas versus Alabama. Two very, very highly touted programs in the past, in the history of college football, if you will. Texas has kind of slacked off these last couple of years, but I believe that Steve Sarkisian will get them on the right track, and I think that's going to be kind of their point of emphasis for this game. I'll get into that in just a little bit. I think the line currently is 18.5-point favorite for Alabama. Coming off of a 55-point win against Utah State, to say they looked impressive would be lying, I guess, because what else do you expect from Alabama in week number 1 playing against Utah State? I mean, Utah State's a good team, but they also pulled their starting quarterback after like the first quarter. I mean, Logan Bonner, a friend of the show, actually, we interviewed him back last summer, and I mean, everybody knew Alabama was going to beat the hell out of Utah State, and they did exactly that. There's really not much to talk about. Bryce Young had 6 touchdowns. On the flip side of that, let's go over to Texas versus ULM. I think they played actually pretty well. They had a punt return touchdown and I believe a pick 6 as well. Quinn Ewers threw for 225 and 2 touchdowns. Through the air, Bijan was Bijan. It's pretty standard stuff for week number 1, which is why I'm not even going to talk more about that on currently now. I'm just going to move on, and we're going to talk mostly about the offseason and what to expect out of this game, because Texas had a top 5 recruiting class. They did really good in the transfer portal, and the thing for Steve Sarkisian in this game is, like I said, I think the emphasis on this game is going to be setting a standard, waking people up, waking up the fan base, waking up the boosters, waking up the people that are paying you, because you're not going to win this game. I'm sorry, Texas fans. If you think Texas has a chance, I think your mind will be changed when you see Will Anderson and Dallas Turner hit Quinn Ewers and probably sack him on the first third down of the game. It's just not in the cards right now. Okay, now Texas is going to have a good season. I really do believe that. I just don't think they have it in the cards to beat Alabama. You're going to have a really, really, really bad game from Bryce Young and everybody on Alabama's defense. Like, this is one of the best teams in college football for a reason. And when they say last year was a rebuilding year, it was truly a rebuilding year. Most of those highly touted players are coming back this year or are back this year. Alabama's a top 4 team in the country, a top 2 team in the country right now, neck and neck with Georgia. That's really all there is to it. So if you're Steve Sarkisian, your goal for this game, not to your players, obviously to your players you're preaching, we're going to win the game, yada, yada. To your coaching staff, it's find improvements. When you're going to OC AJ Mulvey, we need to take strides from week 1 to week 2 in this game. We need to show ourselves that we can compete against some of the best in the country, because you still have a good chance at winning the Big 12 this year. I truly believe that. But you're not going to make the college football playoff in 2022. That's just the nature of things. I hope they prove me wrong, but I don't see that being possible, truly. So, again, for Texas, you need to come out here showing people what Texas football is about. Xavier Worthy didn't even score a touchdown last week. I think he had 2 receptions. Like, get Xavier Worthy the football, okay? Show Texas fans what this team is capable of. Show flashes of greatness. If you're a Texas fan and you're truly expecting Texas to win this game, then you're just delusional. I'm telling you unbiasedly that Alabama is that good. Okay, now Steve is turning around a program. If you look at that video that went viral of the defensive coach last year yelling at players on the bus, that was a terrible, terrible environment to be a part of. That was the players and the culture that Steve is having to turn around. I've seen this happen personally, where a coach comes in and is truly trying to turn around the culture of a program and a school in general. That's what Steve is trying to do. He's trying to do that with Texas. I predicted that Texas would win the Big 12 before they leave for the SEC. That's the path that Texas is on, and this is a big step in the right direction. Steve Sarkisian is one of the best OCs in college football, one of the best schemers. They're going to be very well prepared for Alabama. They're going to hang some points on the board. I'm not saying they're going to hang 40, okay? Mid-20s is probably what I'm expecting out of Texas. Some late scores, maybe even some early scores. With the fact of the matter is this game is going to come down to Alabama is just going to have their way. That's truly all there is to it. I'd expect Jahmyr Gibbs to go over 100. Will Anderson and Dallas Turner will probably combine for about 4 sacks. It's going to be an Alabama heyday. I think the score will be a little closer than what the game truly is. But that's just how I see this thing's going. Let me know in the comment section how you think it will go. If you think Texas will cover. If I'm picking anybody, I'm probably leaning Alabama to cover, but I would not be surprised if Texas were to pull within that 18-point margin. Not an official pick, but if I had to choose, I'm going with Alabama minus 18. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And Texas fans, you got a lot of good things coming your way.